chosen one, you need to hear this carefully, because what you called delay was never absence, and what you thought was silence was never abandonment. The reason your life slowed down when everyone else seemed to move forward is not because you were behind, it's because you were being watched. Not just seen, but studied. And not only by heaven. There were eyes that followed your steps in the dark, waiting for the wrong moment, hoping you would rush into a future you weren't protected enough to survive yet. You wondered why doors stayed closed even when you prayed. You questioned why timing never aligned even when you were ready. But what you didn't know is that some doors didn't close to stop you, they closed to hide you. Heaven doesn't delay without reason. Heaven delays when exposure would be dangerous, and hell only watches what carries threat. There were seasons where nothing made sense. You felt prepared, anointed, capable, yet stuck. Others passed you, opportunities vanished, connections dissolved. You blamed yourself. You thought you missed something. But the truth is darker and more powerful than that. If you had arrived earlier, you would have arrived unshielded. If you had been promoted sooner, you would have been attacked unprepared. So heaven slowed the clock while hell was still calculating. This is why pressure followed you even when progress didn't. This is why resistance showed up before results. This is why your spirit was trained before your platform was revealed. You weren't being ignored, you were being reinforced. There are battles that don't start when you step into purpose. They start when the enemy realizes you're close to it. And some of you felt that resistance long before your breakthrough, because hell sensed what you would become before people ever did. That's why your delay felt heavy. That's why your waiting season felt targeted. It was. Think back. The moments where everything almost worked but didn't. The relationships that almost lasted but collapsed. The opportunities that looked right but fell apart last minute. You thought it was loss. It wasn't. It was interception. You were being redirected away from a version of your future that would have cost you more than it gave. If you had gone when you wanted to go, you would have gone exposed. If you had arrived when you demanded, you would have arrived unarmored. Heaven doesn't rush vessels that still need strengthening, especially when hell is already aware of their assignment. That's why your character was tested in private. That's why your patience was stretched. That's why your discernment was sharpened through disappointment. You were learning to see what others couldn't. You were being trained to survive success without losing yourself, and you didn't even realize it was protection. The delay wasn't empty time. It was preparation time. Every tear, every setback, every lonely stretch was building something in you that applause never could. Because applause doesn't prepare you for opposition, but isolation does. Hell watches patterns. It studies reactions. It looks for weakness in timing. And when it realized you carried something disruptive, something uncontainable, something dangerous to the status quo, it waited. But heaven waited longer, and heaven prepared deeper. That's why you're still standing when others burned out. That's why you didn't break when pressure came. That's why your spirit matured faster than your circumstances. You were being shaped to walk through doors that would crush unprepared souls. Some of you felt like life was unfair, like you were doing everything right and still being held back. But heaven was never holding you back, it was holding you together. Because exposure without covering is destruction, and elevation without protection is collapse. You weren't delayed because you were weak. You were delayed because what's coming requires strength you didn't have yet, but you do now. Notice how your discernment changed. Notice how you no longer rush. Notice how you no longer beg for doors that don't open. That's not coincidence. That's development. You learn to move when heaven moves, not when pressure demands. Hell hates timing it can't control, and that's why heaven controls yours. There were attacks you never saw because you weren't there yet. There were traps you never stepped into because your delay rerotted you. There were people who never accessed you because your season hadn't arrived. And now you're different. You don't react the same. You don't chase the same. You don't fear the same. That's because the delay didn't waste you, it refined you. And here's the part you weren't told. The moment hell stopped watching as closely is the moment heaven prepared to move you forward. Because what hell can't track, it can't stop. And what heaven conceals, it eventually reveals with authority. Your delay confused people. It frustrated observers, it even tested your faith, but it exposed something deeper, your ability to stay aligned even when answers were withheld. That's rare, and rarity is always protected. You're entering a season where the reason for the delay will begin to make sense, not all at once, but piece by piece. You'll start seeing why certain things didn't work, why certain paths closed, why certain timelines collapsed, and instead of anger, you'll feel relief, because now you can handle what you're about to receive. The watching season is ending. The hiding phase is lifting, and the same heaven that slowed your steps is now aligning your path. What was delayed is about to be delivered with precision. What was withheld is about to be released with clarity. And what was watching you from the shadows no longer has permission to follow where you're going next. Now listen closely, because this is where everything begins to turn. The delay didn't just protect you from danger, it protected the future version of you that is finally ready to be seen. What heaven hides, it hides with intention. And what it reveals with precision. You were never meant to arrive early. You were meant to arrive ready. There is a reason why things are moving differently for you now. You may not see it clearly yet, but the resistance has shifted. The weight feels lighter. The confusion is thinning. That's because the season of watching is ending and the season of positioning has begun. Heaven does not keep you hidden forever. It hides you until the environment can no longer destroy what you carry. The truth is, hell never watches empty vessels. It watches potential. It watches threat. It watches destiny that can alter paths beyond itself. And when it realized that stopping you directly wasn't working, it tried something else. It tried to rush you. It tried to pressure you into moving before you were fully formed. But you didn't move, even when you wanted to. Even when it hurt. Even when it didn't make sense. That wasn't weakness. That was alignment. You stayed when leaving would have been easier. You waited when forcing would have felt justified. And that restraint is now becoming your advantage. Because what's ahead requires discernment more than speed, power more than noise, stability more than excitement. There are doors about to open for you that would have destroyed you in your old mindset. Opportunities that would have fed your ego but starved your soul. Connections that would have benefited from you without protecting you. Heaven closed them because you were worth more than temporary elevation. You're about to notice something strange. What once felt impossible is starting to feel natural. Conversations align, timing shifts. People recognize you without you announcing yourself. That's not coincidence, that's authority settling in. You're no longer chasing alignment. Alignment is responding to you. This is the phase where you stop explaining yourself, where you stop proving your worth, where you stop asking for permission to exist in rooms you were already assigned to. The delay taught you how to stand without applause, and that's why applause won't control you when it comes. Hell is loud when it thinks it has time. It becomes quiet when it realizes it's late. And right now, the noise around you is fading. The chaos that once surrounded your steps no longer follows you. Not because the threat disappeared, but because your covering increased. You are stepping into a season where clarity replaces confusion, where movement replaces stagnation, where peace replaces urgency, and peace is the clearest sign of alignment. Anxiety pushes, heaven pulls. The strength you built in the waiting season is what will sustain you in the revealing season. Because exposure is easy. Sustainability is rare, and heaven always chooses rare vessels. There are people who won't recognize you at first, not because you changed too much, but because you no longer vibrate at the frequency of your past. You don't react the same. You don't tolerate the same. You don't chase validation the same way. That's growth. And growth always feels unfamiliar to those who stayed the same. You're also going to realize that some delays saved you from being defined too early. If success had come when you demanded it, you would have built your identity around it. But now, success will simply be something you steward, not something you need to survive. This is where your voice sharpens, your decisions slow down, your confidence settles. You stop needing to be everywhere because you know where you belong. That's not arrogance, that's grounding. And here's what most people never understand. The delay didn't just prepare you, it exhausted the opposition. While you were being built internally, resistance was spending energy trying to predict your next move. But heaven never revealed it. And now, when movement begins, it will feel sudden to everyone else, but inevitable to you. You're not stepping into chaos. You're stepping into order, divine order, the kind where things line up without force, where provision meets obedience, where doors open because it's time, not because you pushed. This is why you feel different even before things change externally. The shift always starts inside. Your spirit sensed it before your circumstances caught up, and that's how you know it's real. The version of you that almost gave up would not recognize the version of you that's about to rise. Not because of status, not because of visibility, but because of stability. You are no longer easily shaken, and that terrifies anything that relied on your instability. What's coming won't require you to abandon who you are. It will require you to fully step into it. No masks, no shrinking, no apologizing for growth. You paid too much in the waiting season to minimize yourself in the revealing season. You're about to see how everything connects. The closed doors, the silent seasons, the unanswered prayers that were actually shaping better outcomes. And when you see it, you won't be angry anymore. You'll be grateful, because the delay didn't deny you. It defended you. And now, heaven is releasing you with timing hell can't interrupt and authority it can't challenge. The hiding is lifting, and the movement ahead will not be rushed, but it will be unstoppable. Stay aligned. Stay grounded, stay aware. Because what's next isn't just progress. It's purpose, protected, prepared, and precisely timed.